post thing.
And you make a good point, Ryan. And you make a good point, Ryan.
That's crazy. Waffle House.
And you make a good point, Ryan.
You make a good point, Ryan. Hey, y'all, this is Cats.
Yeah, you had to have held him up to say that.
Oh, I'm gonna savor that. He says that about once every 3 years, so I'm gonna work on it.
It was probably an accident.
It might have been 70-54. They pulled within 5 points, and you thought, "Wow, this team is being way aggressive."
I think they cut it to 3.
Okay, you're right, 3, and they were aggressive. And then Kelvin calls timeout, and it's like he pulled the carpet out from under them. They just went ice cold. The U of H defense turned it up, and you held Javon Small, who started off 3 of 4, and you thought was going to make every bucket, and he ended up 4 of 11. So went one of his last 7. That is, they stepped it up on him. Held Jawan was guarding him. I think Jojo Tugler guarded him for a while. Milos, they did some things, and you looked pretty good. And I guess Jawan and his stomach bug, that kind of worked out for you. How about that guy?
Yeah, it was interesting after that timeout, and they basically just came out and dropped the hammer on him. It was like in Rocky IV when the Rocky IV's, or not, Ivan Drago's coach unleashed Drago, and he killed Apollo Creed. That's basically what we did to them right there. And the thing is, we didn't do it. It wasn't because of the offense. They just cranked it up on defense. Just reminded it, you need a little reminder of who you are every now and then. And I thought tonight, Kelvin and his rotation, I think he did the best job of the year.
Really?
I thought he did a really good job of keeping guys fresh. I thought he did a great job of taking advantage of matchups. He went with I guess we were behind, or we finally tied it up, and then Jawan came out in the first half, and then we went with the first time showed the small lineup with Terrence at the 4. And then we took a nice lead. I think we pushed it up to 8 in that spell while Jawan was out. And then for some reason, they just thought that they could put somebody one-on-one with Jawan, and he stepped up huge.
That's one way to say it.
He showed a part of his game that I really haven't seen as much. He was really taking advantage of them trying to take off whenever he was on the left side of the lane. Defenders usually try to guard him on the high side to keep him from going to his left. And I thought he did a great job of abusing that, and really getting to the rack, either right-handed or left-handed. But he threw out a dream shake out there. He put the ball on the floor. I mean, dude looked like he knew what he was doing in the paint.
And he looked quicker. That move was something I don't think I've seen from him. You're talking about West Virginia had an 18 13 lead, and U of H went on an 18-3 run. They actually had a kill shot, a 10-0 run or better. They had an 11-0 run there. They had a 14-0 run in the second half, two of them tonight.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, gave West Virginia all they wanted and a good bit more. U of H has been in this conference for 23 games. They played West Virginia twice. And two of West Virginia's three lowest scoring games in the Big 12 since COVID have been against U of H. Two different teams, basically two different programs. But I'm going to tell you something. I thought this West Virginia team we saw tonight, for the most part, was pretty damn good. You know, everything that Jamie said. I mean, they ran out of gas and realized they just didn't want any more of this. Almost covered. Actually, they did cover, didn't they? It was 16 and a half and finished at 16. I thought that number was so dumb. I thought 16 and a half, that's way too high. There you go. That's why those people are doing that over there. This game is a rock fight. We had the BYU coach tell us that a week ago, but this one kind of was. I mean, you have to feel pretty good about your offense. You shot almost 50%.
Well, I'm telling you what, the we've watched every game of Kelvin's tenure here.
Yeah.
And the difference between this team and every other team that he's had is this team can shoot the lights out. Usually one of the things that we did is we would struggle to score consistently. And when this team needs big shots, guys are stepping up and hitting it, and they're dangerous. They're if you give us open looks, it's over. And when you're able to play inside out like we did tonight, it's going to be tough to beat for anybody at any time.
Why do you love that so much?
Huh?
Why do you love that inside out so much?
Because it opens up the guards. I mean, it gives you a legit. I mean, I like the post to be able to score, but if nothing else, it at least gives you a legit chance to move guys open or move guys around and get them open. And especially when you've got somebody like J1 who is such a good passer out of the post. He can really distribute the ball, or he can score depending on when it depending on what's shown. But opening, I mean, it's just like in football. I love to see us attack the middle of the field. Same thing in basketball. If you get the ball inside, below the free throw line, you're going to be in good shape because people have to move to do that. And guys on this team are unselfish enough to where we can swing the ball all over the place. I think Reed had mentioned Reed Geddes, for those who don't know, had mentioned on the broadcast that we had how many assists did we have in the first half?
I think it was 9.
9 assists in the first half. For like the first 10 minutes, and we only had 2 in the second.
Right.
But like for the first 10 minutes, we didn't have any assists. So the ball was sticking. But in the first half, that offense, the way that they moved the ball, a pass, and you're able to get it to not just your first man, not the second man, but sometimes the third man. So that's why I like to get the ball, play inside out.
Okay.
I thought Sharp, the more he attacks and shows different looks, the better off his 3-point shooting is going to be. And that's why he gets so many open looks, because you can't guard him like you used to.
Yeah, that's true. Star Pizza. You've got lunch specials every day this week. Brad and I are going Friday. Going to do the buffet on Friday. You got pasta and wine specials tomorrow. The all-you-can-eat buffet on Friday, $13.95. You get a drink with that. And they're just great sponsors of this program, of the Pod Slamma Jamma program. and try to do a lot of things with NIL. They do it the right way. Star Pizza, get you some great people. Comments. Awesome game, driving and watching from our guy Mac Smith. I got to meet Mac tonight. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, I saw he mentioned a bucket list. We're gonna have to
Boy,
adjust some things. We're gonna have to talk
hey,
to Mac about that.
I texted my mother. Can you believe somebody called this a bucket list?
I mean, if it was a bucket of Frenchies or something, it'd be a different story.
Right. But my mother had the three dots that she was typing for a long time,
Oh
a
yeah.
long time, and then the response was, "Of course."
See, I
Like,
only know about the little three dots from memes on the internet because I'm a Samsung guy, so I don't see that.
that's just saying my fingers are too fat for the iPhone, is what that's saying. Darian DeVries said in the post game that they are championship level good. I think that's pretty accurate. I think the way this team is playing right now, uh, it very well could be. But this team could be this good and still finish third in this conference
Oh yeah.
because of Arizona and Iowa State. Iowa State statement tonight. Um, I thought they had
Is it weird that
buried
I'm
Kansas a few times.
is it weird that I'm really not concerned about Kansas at all? I mean, I'm concerned about us going up to Kansas.
Yes.
And preseason, I already marked that down as a loss. So I'm looking for us to go in and try to take advantage and play above of what we've done on the road there last year. But when it comes down to it, I just don't see it. I didn't see it in the offseason when everybody was jerking them off about, oh, look at all this talent they've got again. It's like, you said that for the last year and a half.
I mean, how many people put them number one in the country? And
Most of them.
I think they were number one. And and don't get me wrong, I think they're plenty good. I think they're Sweet 16, Elite 8 kind of good, but maybe not what everybody's been saying. This team, I don't think we've seen the great yet. I think we've seen very good, but I don't think we've seen the great yet. I think there's still a good ways to go on that end.
Oh yeah, I mean this is what we've seen right now is a start of what they can be. This is Javier getting healthy. This is Milo settling in, and this is TA getting back on track and really finding who he is as a player. We're still, I mean, we got a donut from JoJo. We're still waiting and pushing him along. When JoJo arrives, this team is gonna be tough.
Do you think he needs to be more aggressive offensively?
I don't
He's
want to
not
say more
taking a lot of
aggressive.
shots.
Reed would nailed it. He just basically said he's got to slow down.
Yeah.
He just gets a little too. He gets a little too fast in everything he does, and that's not a great thing. You want guys that have an engine like that. And if I was playing against JoJo, I would hate him. I would hate being around him because his hands are all over the place. He's always active. He never slows down. It's better to have a racehorse and tell him whoa than have to beat the piss out of it.
Have a donkey, yeah. He's like the first when you hit the VCR and that first little that 2 times the speed. That's kind of what he is. He's not the 4 times where he was a lot of the year last year, but he's not playing the same speed that most people are playing.
Yep.
I have a co-pilot tonight. Uh, and there you go. Just look at those teeth. Okay, this is getting weird.
That's odd.
All right.
She's
Uh,
like a Furby.
yes, she is like a Furby. I didn't say that. That was Brad. So tell me about this ESPN Plus broadcast, because I want to figure out how bad this was.
It was bad because you didn't have the screen graphics, but it was kind of cool to watch extended play from the baseline. I mean, it's like you're sitting on the baseline.
So I put a video up before the game of guys shooting from the outside. And the second half of the video was from straight underneath the basket of watching 3-point shots go in. And that's what it sounds like what you got from ESPN, at least until the under 16. I don't understand this comment at all. Our baby pterodactyl is now an adolescent pterodactyl. I'm actually terrified of what JoJo's ceiling looks like. I have a small Asian girl yapping in my ear, so if I'm not making a whole lot of sense, I apologize. I am not game tested, apparently. If Uzan was playing those early games like he is now, we might be sitting here with 1 or 0 losses. There's a lot of things you can say about that. I keep going back to Auburn having to turn their plane around and go back home and then flying here and then beating you. And they have been pretty indestructible since they turned that plane around.
Yeah, I mean, shit, they had
The
cancer
first
surgery on the
mom,
way here.
yeah, the first mother to ever make that I'm going to turn this car around thing actually worked.
Yeah.
Okay, this is true. She, meaning Ann, is a great photographer for those that don't know. Ann is fantastic. She's uber talented. We're going to put her ass to work again when needed. But Mario does a great job for us. There you go, Ann. You got on the show. Malik Wilson seemed like he was playing timid and afraid to make a mistake. Malik was also sick. And I don't know if that played a role. Jawan was sick and played like a monster. Every time Kelvin has said the game plan is Jawan this year, it's worked really, really well.
Mm-hmm. I think they thought that, you know, they've got a good shot blocker down there. They thought that they could let it go 1-to-1, man-to-man there. And Juwan said, no, he ain't having that. I mean, literally in the first half, anything that he wanted to do, any spot that he wanted to get to, he did. I mean, he physically dominated that guy. And the fact usually Juwan is somewhat easy to push out of the low post, but in this game, Juwan sat down deep in the post, and that guy wasn't doing anything. He couldn't do anything. I mean, he had him pinned up all night. I was impressed.
U of H did not score a field goal in the last 4 minutes and 2 seconds. You didn't need it, but that is somewhat of a concern at times that you can't score at the end of a game. West Virginia didn't either. But I don't know. That's a difficult one. There's a lot of people here yelling and screaming. And I don't know why I'm hearing all of it, but I am. Y'all have a great defense. If you hit shots like that, you can beat anyone. I assume this is a West Virginia fan. Thank you for the comment and for watching.
And if this is your West Virginia fans, welcome. And if this is your first time, no, I am not related to Bob Huggins, and I am not Bob Huggins.
Yes, this is
I might look like him.
We should just, yeah, I don't know why we haven't even gone to that. But we should. There we go. Name change right there. Uh, so me and Huggy, uh, that poor Bob Huggins. Uh, you know who got a lot of love this week was Jamie from the West Virginia fans today. They really thought he nailed his scouting report. Um, that was another long one to edit this morning. Appreciate that. Uh, this guy says our short bench caught up with us, brought the game close a few times, but could never get over the hump. Hopefully we get DeVries and Stone back, but I doubt it. It doesn't sound like Tucker is getting back anytime soon. But the thing that was most impressive about this U of H team today was that they did take a lot of punches.
Mhm.
And they threw better punches after that. And it was nonstop. And, I mean, credit to West Virginia. They did not play like that team last year.
Well, I tell you what, here's one thing is that for the rest of the season, if West Virginia shoots 44% for the floor and 40% from the three, they might lose one more game. But you're not going to
Win
lose
a lot of
the
games.
stats don't make any sense. And I think if I was going to say where it came down to, they got a little bit enamored with the three and didn't crash the boards.
Yeah.
You could see a number of, I remember about 5 or 6 possessions where they'd take a three and then there wouldn't be a blue shirt on that half of the court.
They had
But
6 offensive boards.
What do you, if you're them, you say, well, you just tip your hat and say, we gave it a shot. We did we did everything that we could.
Yeah.
Now, it could be a different story if you go there and they cut the lead to 3 and then all of a sudden, home court makes a difference. That kicks in, the game can turn there.
Yeah. And that's 2 weeks from today. You'll be at West Virginia.
Not long. That's a quick turnaround.
That you go to UCF, who looks a little better all of a sudden. Saturday, you come back Tuesday with Utah, weather permitting. I think it'll play, but there could be some hairiness in the weather Tuesday. And then you go to Kansas Saturday and turn around and go to West Virginia that Wednesday. When you go to Kansas, you've got about a 4-week stretch there where the road tests are going to be out of this world. And, I think you can win at Kansas. I think you can win at West Virginia. I would be shocked if you win both. Just because of what this conference is and the kind of shots you get from people at home. Gary Parrish from CBS Sports noted how U of H is statistically elite, but 0-3 against Q1 opponents. Thoughts of that? Well, now they're 1-3 because West Virginia is a Q1. You did not play well for a 2-week stretch there against Auburn and Alabama and San Diego State, and really not even against Notre Dame for the most part. But you're going to have a lot of Q1 opportunities between.
I'm at this point, I'm pretty much a broken clock. I've been saying it since it happened. It's early. When we played them in November. What was Auburn was the 3rd game of the season?
2nd. It was November 8th, if I remember. Something like that.
Javier missed 19 practices.
19 days. But yeah.
You had a brand new point guard to mix in. Terrence and JoJo, those were their first games back playing since last year. They missed half the season with injuries. We were a very experienced team but very inexperienced with the group playing together. Now you see Javier looks like a completely different player. He's a much better defender. He can actually move. He's a threat. Even if he doesn't score, he's a threat. I mean, he changes shots. He defends the pick and roll as good as anyone that we've had in a while.
I love watching him play.
And of course,
you know,
Milos, the kid is good. The kid can play. He looks a lot better. He's dialed in now. And the most important thing you see from this team is defensively, the rotations are tight again. You know, they're not missing rotations. They're not slow to rotate. They're not slow to double the post. They're not slow to press to attack the pick and roll up top. And then everybody else is in position. I mean, you saw tonight, like it's the little bitty things that I love. I actually stood up and gave it a hell yeah watching Malik get a steal with his back turned. Because the reason why I did that, because the ball's behind him, but you're taught to keep your hands out at all times, no matter where the ball is. And, you know, that's exactly what the ball hit him right in the hands. I mean, it's the little bitty details like that. I mean, the margin for error in this game at this level, especially at the level we're trying to achieve, it's so small. Small things like that matter. You know, being, you know, a foot out of position matters. You know, a quarter of a second slow on a rotation matters. And now this team is playing together, and they're able to not worry about what somebody else is doing. Well, one of their teammates, they know that they're going to be there. The trust is there. And so they're all focused on what they are doing individually. And when that happens, they're all working together. It's tough. You just can't beat that, especially whenever you play as intense as they do.
accurate.
Because West Virginia doesn't get tired just because, you know, they're playing a game of basketball. They're getting tired because they have to work their ass off on both ends of the floor. And not all teams are used to that.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams do it, but they're surprised with how difficult it is in a game against U of H. And Emmanuel and I don't know if it was in the video, we talked about it Monday, is just how much he's having to work on both ends and how he had to be in better shape. His endurance had to be better. And it's because you're playing 30-second possessions on the defensive end. And then, you know, there's some times where this offense takes a while to get going and you're playing 30-second possessions on this end. And, you know, the easy part is jogging back and forth. I mean, that's
you know, the funny
not a lot of
thing
work.
about when y'all were talking about how he his body transformed, and he says, I'm not really doing a whole lot different. I'm not eating much different. Just keep doing the same thing. You know what the what the difference truly is? He's just getting older. He's getting that old man strength.
Yeah, I don't.
So I remember when I hit like right around 22, 23, all of a sudden I got stronger without doing anything. And I was still training at U of H.
Training.
They actually worked me pretty hard.
Yeah. He's 20 years old, by the way. So he does not have old man strength. He has still can't drink legally strength.
That can't be.
He was
Hadn't
March
he been here like
7th,
6 years?
2004. He came, I think, when he was 17. Because he came that that semester that he redshirted after he had the injury. But yeah, he's young. Wish I had seen this game. Looks like Jawan was on fire in the first half. He went 8 of 10. I mean, that's an okay little half for you. Get that shooting percentage up. Decent chance we see at least one of those teams at some point in March, April, and it'll be a completely different game. I assume it's talking about Kansas and Iowa State.
Do one.
I don't know.
Talking
I'm
about
trying to catch
Auburn,
up.
Alabama.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. You very well could. You would hope to see a team of that caliber in San Antonio and not before. But yeah, we'll see. Is Malik given a lot of freedom to look for his shot? I couldn't tell if coach was pissed about him not feeding Jawan in the post. Maybe some of that, but you have Malik on the floor because of what he can do athletically. And, you expect him to go hunting for his own stuff. He's doing a lot better job of feeding his teammates. I didn't notice an issue, but I don't have a TV feed.
Well,
So
I think
I don't know what
they changed up the way that they were defending the post in the second half. They were doing
much
a better
more
job
aggressive.
of doubling and then dropping coverage. They were giving Malik a little bit more room, which then makes it tougher to be able to make the entry pass.
Yeah.
Unless he's, I don't think his strong suit is quote unquote trying to force a shot. I think he's best when he gets the ball on a catch and shoot and can at least get a couple of dribbles or just hit something when he's wide open. But him trying to create something when it's not there with a guy dropped off of him, that's not his strength. I think guys do a pretty good job of not trying to force stuff.
Yeah, I think that's 100% true. Galen had a game tonight. That's why he's not here. Didn't play another DNP. I think that's 2 in a row. And they've both been while we're doing shows. We got to get him back. I believe he will be back for UCF. Maybe not Kansas, unfortunately.
UCF comes right at the perfect time to watch it, do our post game, and take a nap.
My mother told me this same game plan. Watch the game, take her nap, maybe watch a show, probably take a nap. I was going through photos. I was sitting up in press row. I was going through old photos. Stuff Mario did like right when we started the website. And I stopped on one of this guy. And this is the photo I was stopped on. And all of a sudden, somebody walks up in front of me and kind of startled me. And he was like, "Hey, I'm Max Smith." And it took me a second. I was like, "Oh, yeah." And Mac tweeted the other day that he was going to come and meet me. And that was a big bucket list item for him. And he said it again today. And we took a photo. He's got his Houston versus everybody hoodie on there. There you go, Galen. You happy now? And no one's ever said meeting me or being around me is a bucket list item, but that was kind of different. Thank you, Mac.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Nothing, Brad.
We're gonna have to, adjust those bucket list priorities. We got to raise the bar a little bit.
That's probably accurate. We bought that Coug fans. Remember that? That was fun.
Yeah.
Jawan is walking down the steps with Malik. He's walking pretty good for a sick guy. Let's see if we can get him up
that's
here.
the weird thing about being sick is in baseball and basketball, I've played my best when I'm sick.
See, I have bait. This is how I can get people to come up. Oh, now we can't see him. We're not allowed to talk anymore. Yeah. That's to Jawan and Ann. Which is fascinating. So we bought that Coug fans, and there's a game thread, pretty good, pretty active. One of the guys was like, "Man, the crowd sucks. There's nobody here." And I looked up, and I was like, "Oh, that looks pretty good to me."
Mhm.
I'm not an expert, but that looks pretty good. That looks like a pretty good crowd. And I mean, there's some spots, but tonight there was more issues with the traffic getting in on Scott Street and getting in the garage.
Yeah, I saw somebody said that it
A lot
took
of
them
people.
30 minutes to get from the light at Scott and Holman to get into the garage and get to their seat.
That's not good. That's not what you want. Obviously, that spot at Scott and Holman is always going to be an issue. And when you put in the rail, that's just what's going to happen. But
Apparently, cops weren't there.
to get into that issue with the stadium garage is a big problem. And I talked to some people that are responsible for that, and well, partly responsible, and said, "Look, we're going to take care of it. We're going to figure that out." So let's see. We'll see if they get it figured out.
It's kind of like every time it rains, it's going to flood a little bit down in South Houston, over off of Broadway near the airport. Every time
Okay.
it rains.
Right.
Guess what? Every time we play a midweek game,
Yep.
it's going to be a late arriving crowd.
Yep. Especially with schools back in. So students are actually on campus going to class these first few weeks before they, do what students do.
Well, I mean, yeah,
So
you got to go in and
parking's
get
a
your
lot harder.
sodas, and then
Yeah.
find the smart people who you can get notes from later on in the semester, and then after a few weeks, and it's like, okay, cool, it's warmer now, let's go play.
Let's go play.
I thought everything was done online these days.
That's what I thought too. But we keep they keep building new buildings, so maybe it's not.
Well, I mean, you gotta keep spending money. I mean, you're not going to be given money if you're not spending money.
Accurate. They also had some entrance roads and sidewalks in front of the Moores School blocked off due to construction. So this is my big issue. They built a red light at where the Moores School is, where you go into the athletics building, and worked on the damn thing for like a year. I've never seen a red light take longer to become functional. And they get it up and they get it working, and then they shut down everything they're building a new building in that Moore's parking lot.
Old Chuggalug?
Near Chuggalug. And so they fenced all of that off. So now there's a turn signal into a spot where you can't turn. And the city and U of H have not figured that out, that you can turn that all off and just let people drive. But yeah, Big Jack says clusterfuck. That is 100% right. Connor, yes, this is part of the Centennial Project. They're building that. They're going to put some plaza in. I don't know. So I'm not a fan, but yeah, the crowd looked bad from that City ESPN Plus angle. Yeah, because you're shooting right towards the end zones, and those are the least filled in spots where
it was
a lot of
they changed
the first 4 minutes.
They changed the angle after the first time out.
Yeah. So, oh well, things happen.
But that's just the way it's going to be.
Yep.
It's always been that way. It'll always be that way.
The red light and Holman and Scott going towards the indoor takes way longer. So I didn't figure this out for a long time, but I figured out during the fall when I was coming to campus every day of the week that coming down Scott was a bad idea. And so I started turning onto Emancipation and coming to Holman and just coming straight down Holman. And that worked out a lot better. I probably saved 8 hours just doing that. So, maybe just avoid Scott Street if you can. Coug Mania. So I didn't really understand what this was about. What was Coug Mania about? What was tonight? So it was a wrestling theme. and it was kind of hokey at halftime. But then they did a Stone Cold Steve Austin coming down the tunnel uh, from the back lot at Hoffines, and he had Shasta came with a black U of H t-shirt with the arms cut off, and he was wearing jorts and had the headband. I think I'm gonna tell you something. That looked pretty good. That was entertaining. I thought that was like, all right, that's pretty good. Uh, so kudos to marketing for getting that one right tonight.
Never knew anything about it.
Yeah, I was surprised. Let's look at comments. Did it appear U of H defense played at a high constant level, independent of who U of H had on the court? Brad, you thought they did.
I did. I thought they came out a little slow out of half, but outside of that, yeah, the entire it didn't slow down at all. It didn't slow down. And I think you with some of the matchups that we put on the floor, we went small a few times.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you really do see the activity pick up quite a bit. Because those guys are just like rabid dogs out there.
There was a point in the second half where they came out with a lineup of Milos and LJ, Terrence Arsenault, Malik, and JVR. And I was like, I don't know about this lineup.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And they went to a timeout and they came back out with that lineup. And I was like, okay, this is intentional. This is what they want on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's where Milos made his play and got to the hoop and the and one.
I remember Kellen a couple of years ago telling us that Arsenault is a natural four.
Yes. He told me and Starnes that.
But he's a natural four. He has the natural ability to play that game. And, there's when he presents, he can play big when he needs to, but he can also do anything he wants on the wing. And you can get him, if you can get him matched up on another four, another big. I mean, that's where it makes us really tough to guard. Is that if you can get him matched up on a big guy, it's over. It's over. Now, if you want to try to fix that, and you put a smaller guy on it, well, he can get you down to the paint, and again, it's over.
JVR has come a long way since the Tulane windmill dunk. That was one of my favorite moments, to be honest. I just love that.
You got the entire team. You got the entire team. Everybody on the bench and on the sideline was jumping up and down, except for Kelvin was jumping up and down for a different reason.
He has never attacked a referee as hard as he attacked JVR in that moment. If you don't remember, it had to be 3 years ago that at Tulane, at that bullshit arena, Fogelman, that now has air conditioning, didn't have it when I was a kid. At the buzzer, JVR, they throw the pass. I mean, U of H is up 15, 18, something. And JVR does a full 360 windmill baby moose dunk. And I am at home like, holy shit. And then you just see Kelvin like appearing out of nowhere and just working his ass. And that was hilarious. More on Kelvin. Just about made me cry laughing when he fell to the ground and lifted himself up with a chair. He actually fell into Kellen's lap like a very dramatic. And I thought he was going to get teed up because it looked like.
Was that on the small push-off?
Push-off, and they said that the ball went off Malik's hand, is what I remember. And he obviously thought it was off a small. And hang on. Bye, and you have a great night. Take your little dildo balloons with you. Okay, that's weird. But yeah, he was pretty bizarre the way he did that. I wish I had seen this game. Looks like Juwan. Oh, we talked about that one. Okay, so we got through all those. That was fun. U of H traffic control is an absolute joke. Halftime was interesting. I appreciate them trying something different. I agree with that. Why keep doing the exact same things? They
Yeah,
did
I
a
mean,
baby
they're not
race
all
a
going
few
to be
weeks
winners.
ago. They don't have to be.
No.
You're at a point in your program where you're not bringing in, basketball teams and cheerleading teams to fill the arena, and whatever happens at halftime is a much bigger deal. You're in a spot where people are actually, totally tuned into the game for 40 minutes. Terrence Arsenault is this team's Swiss Army knife. The problem with that is there's several guys you can say that about. Terrence is probably the number one you can say it about, but Malik has got that. And, that windmill dunk that Tulane's players were pissed about, win the game.
Well, in that instance, I say they have a reason to be pissed. That's at that point in the game after, that's a little much. I wouldn't want it done against us.
Beat them.
Well, if I was
they
playing,
won't do it.
If I was playing, we'd be fighting.
Okay.
But that was, when I played, we had shorts. We were still pretty close to nutters. So,
yeah,
we all fought back then.
Yeah, I don't know how those two things have anything to do with each other.
But dude, if you're wearing pants like that, you're always pissed off.
Well, if you go 5 years beyond you had shorts down to your socks.
Oh yeah. I mean,
and you got to be pissed about that too.
They started getting. I still remember when I went the year after I left high school. They got pants that came down to almost to the knee. Like, son of a bitch, man! They're riding our coattails. All our success, and they get to reap the rewards.
That's a reward?
Yeah, I mean, I used to have to get my pants, my shorts soaking wet and stretch them for an hour before every game.
There's an insult there, and I'm just not finding the right one. So just feel insulted, okay? Feel like I said something good. Not Bob Huggins wearing nut huggers is a dangerous thought. Okay, that's getting starred. No one wants to think about that. That's getting starred. Here's one. Juwan's perimeter defense was outstanding tonight. He went out and guarded the hell out of these guys. And, good for him. Towns, I really enjoy watching the Cougs in my recliner at home like you do.
I don't have
brother,
a recliner.
Okay, well.
I watch at my desk, dude. I've got 3 screens.
And when he's wearing the nutters at his 3 screens, they just kind of flow.
I don't even wear nutter boxer shorts.
Okay, we're gonna just turn your microphone off. We can't. I don't know why, but it just sounds weird coming from you.
You never know where it's gonna go.
No, I really don't. Are you guys sticking with your conference record predictions?
I don't remember what mine is, but yes.
We said that
mine was 15-5.
Generally 15-5 is going to win the conference. I'm going to say right now, it looks like the records, it's going to be a lot better than that. But you're about to go beat up on each other. U of H has kind of played 4 games to start, not necessarily tonight, but 4 games to start against the bottom of the league. I think this team that you saw tonight is actually pretty good.
Well, yeah,
I think
in West Virginia is having a comeuppance right now. Is that they came in here and caught hands, and they've got another one coming when they go home to face Iowa State.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be the same thing.
And that could be a good spot for West Virginia to maybe steal one. They've had a rough, they didn't go home this week. Where were they? Colorado? Where
Yes,
did they
I
just
believe
go
so.
to? They Colorado Sunday and flew straight to Houston. They've been to Houston all week. And, that's not easy. There's a reason U of H, when they go to Arizona, they play Arizona on February 15th. They play Arizona State on the 18th. Well, they're coming home between those two. They're
Mhm.
gonna sleep in their own bed for 2 nights.
Well, they've got to on your thought that they have a chance to steal one. Iowa State just beat the piss out of Kansas
at home.
Yeah.
You're saying Iowa State goes to West Virginia, right?
Yeah.
Different game?
That's an easy letdown.
Yeah. It's a long trip.
We have an easy letdown against UCF, but West Virginia's truly dangerous. You're
really
not careful. You're not careful. They will shoot you out of the gym.
I'm impressed by what I saw tonight. It's just a different team, and what he's done with
every
Javon
team's
Small,
a different team without Kirk Rissa.
It's not nice. But Iowa State it's a short turnaround from playing tonight to flying to West Virginia. They get a little break. They play at 5 Eastern, so 4 o'clock Central. I think there's a chance. I don't know if it's necessarily going to happen, but I think there's a chance. But I think the teams at the top are going to beat up on each other. You've got to play Arizona. You play Kansas a couple times. You got to play Iowa State. That's a lot of. You get Iowa State at home. You play Kansas at home. You play Kansas on the road. You go to Arizona. And there's going to be games that sneak up on you. And Kelvin, we've talked about this a couple times on this show, and Kelvin talked about it Monday with us. On his radio show, that U of H is everybody's Saturday home game. U of H is getting teams midweek where, okay, enthusiasm not as high, crowds maybe not as good. Whereas U of H is going on the road on Saturdays to play at UCF and Kansas State last week, and then you go to Colorado and Arizona. And then you end the year in Waco. I think it's like 7 or 6 Saturday road games, and that's brutal. And it's so backloaded that I don't know. Iowa State ain't losing 5 games. I'm gonna tell you, it's a hard conference. You're gonna see some things you just didn't expect. Agree. ISU is not losing that many. We got to keep up. All right. Y'all might be right, but I might be right too. Peyton Turner was at the game. He did the Whose House chant at the under 4 timeout. Cincinnati has been incredibly. Did Cincinnati beat Colorado? I don't know the score to that game, but I guess I could look it up.
What was the question?
Cincinnati played Colorado tonight, and just trying to see if they won. I don't know. They were up late.
Let's see here. 68-62.
They won?
Yeah.
So that's their first Big 12 win.
Ooh. Utah beat
if I recall.
TCU?
That game was at Utah?
I think it was TCU. Yeah.
Oh, well then
Purple floor.
that's so Utah. I assume they play at home this weekend. So they came to Texas, they go back home, and they come back to Texas Tuesday.
Hey,
It's just a weird schedule.
welcome to the Big 12. Enjoy your
I
truck
mean,
stops.
this well, not all truck stop, but and they lost Silovich to a hand injury. He didn't play tonight, and they still won. How does that affect them going forward? We'll see. They look good
I just
tonight,
think
but
I
they
just think
still at home.
I think that they are just a very, very difficult team, and that you know they got a lot better in the offseason. You know,
They did.
they recruit like we do, in that they're not going for they're not looking for the best player, they're looking for the best fit. And they're able to do that.
And TJ, let me put this on full screen so my Iowa State buddies can see this. TJ is a really good coach. A really good coach.
Horrible dresser.
Fashion, maybe not there, but a really good coach. I saw a graphic. I was watching the game before U of H has started, and before this season, Iowa State had spent 10 weeks in the top 10 ever, and they spent 9 weeks there this year. That's wild.
Wow.
Well, don't get too excited there, buddy. I don't know who just says wow to something impressive. Iowa State has looked good in every game they've played. They did have just one close loss to Auburn. I think it was in Hawaii. You know, I saw something today that I did not know. West Virginia went and played in a tournament, and I'm blanking now which one it was, and won all 3 games, and all 3 went to overtime. I don't think I've ever seen that. It might have been the Diamond Head, if I remember. But I think West Virginia is pretty good. Emmanuel Sharp today, he started off, I think he hit his first 3 threes, if I'm correct in that.
I
Like,
believe
just
so.
lights out.
Yeah.
And, you know, we talked about it on Monday when we did our interview about being the number 1 3-point shooter in the country, and he didn't know it. And his response was, "Wow." Like, he took a half second to enjoy it and just, "Wow, look at me." And then pivoted immediately to praising the people that have helped him, including his dad, Derek Sharp. Was so impressed with him. And then this part that we did at the very end of the interview, which for my money is the best end we've ever had to an interview. Emmanuel Sharp.
Confident.
Well, that's a good sound right after you say that. I asked him, you know, what do you think about when you hear the name Emmanuel Sharp? And he just said confident, and bam. But back to this, I'm sticking with 15-5 right now. If we see another 5 games and there's 2 teams that are 10-0, well, maybe we'll change. But I am not. I'm just really not ready to, go off the deep end. Arizona, Houston, and Iowa State are 5-0. I guess Kansas is 3-2 now. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any reason to pivot right now, but maybe you'll see something different. I was seeing some things online tonight and I can't see this from where I am, but a lot of the out of bounds calls were pretty bad. Do you
They were
think
less
that's
than good.
like just
I
bad ref?
know 2 or 3 they flat out just completely blew.
Okay. That's not that high of a percentage.
Well, they should have been really easy because the ref. I mean, they were literally right in front
Right
of
in
the
front
ref,
of it.
like 2 feet away
Yeah.
from him.
Okay. Well,
It's not like they made a call from across the court. There you go. I put a picture in there in your media assets.
I put a picture in there. Look at you doing the work. That's weird. Hmm. I mean, do we believe that he's like, I think there was times in your life when you've looked more like him than you do right now.
Well, I wasn't. Hey, Huggy was still on a bender there, so I haven't done that in years.
Okay. Have that deer in the headlights look now. The Huggy look. Yeah. All right. Well, we used the hell out of your ad to the media assets, so thank you. That was cool. Speaking of Huggy, do you think he coaches again? It's really hard to say because I just
It's
don't
gonna.
see him dealing with this level of bullshit that you have to deal with now.
It's. What was the guy's name at Wichita State? Greg Marshall.
He
Those
did not have the
guys.
gray. He did not have the gray on the sides. He
Those
had the
guys.
whole thing polished.
Even Billy Gillespie. I guess Billy Gillespie's at Tarleton or something like
Yeah.
that.
Or was.
It's a different world, man. Guys that coach players tough. They're a dying breed because you have to. It's a really fine line because as hard as you coach them, you have to build them up just as much, if not more.
Yeah. But also NIL, the transfer portal. I just don't see why a guy with Huggy's money at his age is coming back at this point to do it again. Now, they're built different than I am. They're built different than you are. So I don't know, but I just don't see that happening. He's 71 years old.
It's do they want to put up with it, but two, does anybody want to put up with them? I think you're at a point right now where you just move forward and go with the up and comer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really, really different world that's going to require a different set of skills and a willingness to do a different kind of job.
And
I mean, you see like Larinaga couldn't hack it, so he just up and quit. Tony Bennett just flat out quit. I mean, the job gets too big. They don't want to do it.
well, I think the part that is the hardest for these old school guys is re-recruiting your roster every year.
Well, I think the biggest
Kelvin,
thing also is the fact that, they were allowed to cheat a little bit more than other people.
okay.
And
Well, I think
now everybody
everybody
can cheat.
was doing that. Well, I think a lot of people were doing that. It's just, I think that part of it, Kelvin got so lucky this year that, and lucky maybe not the right word, but was fortunate that he got LJ back and Emmanuel back and Jawan back and Terrence Arsenault and, guys that had some options, but he got him back, and he's not having to reinstall with an entirely new team. And a lot of schools are doing that. It's just a whole different world. Huggins was so insulting to U of H during the NCAA tournament the season before U of H moved to the Big 12. If I remember that, it was more of a they're just gonna come play with the big boys kind of thing. Like you just didn't believe that they had accomplished anything by winning the American.
I mean,
He was
realistically,
wrong. Well, I think he was wrong.
I don't think winning the American for this. I mean, if I'm in our
Comparing it to
shoes and I see
this,
somebody
no.
winning the American right now, I look at Memphis and I'm like, eh.
Okay. But
So I mean, I mean, in conference you play two teams, one team who's worth the shit, and then two who might be dangerous on any given night. But outside of that, it's just beating up a bunch of hobos.
yeah. Why are we acting like Huggins wasn't fired for having a BSC of 0.21? He 100% was. Nobody's disputing that at all. We're only talking about, is he willing to come back and do this? I'm saying he's got a lot of money and he's old and he looks like Towns. Things just aren't, what's the point? I don't know. A lot of people wanted Billy Gillespie in 2009 when they brought in James Dickey. So Gillespie was on the 1 yard line and ready to run it in. And I remember I was in the parking lot at Little Papacitos at Kirby and Richmond when I found out that they had bailed on Gillespie and were going with James Dickey, who at the time I just didn't remember. I mean, he was so far he was coaching an 8th grade girls basketball team. U of H, the guy they hired before Kelvin Sampson, was coaching an 8th grade girls basketball team.
Well, because Eddie Sutton retired and he was no longer needed to carry the bag.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Anyways, Gillespie, it looked like a done deal at that point, and his career has gone a little sideways. He's at Tarleton, as we said. He was at Ranger Junior College before that. Ah,
Well, the fact that he went to places like that tells you he's coaching right now because he loves to coach.
yeah. I mean, he could coach at Tarleton for 10 years and not make what he made in a year at Kentucky or A&M. I mean, he had it all in his lap, and that Kentucky was just a bad situation. And then with I don't even remember the Texas Tech year. He was 8-23 at Tech in 11-12. I don't have any memory of that. So there you go. Was he at the 1 yard line? Yes. It was to the point of meeting with Renu Couture and her saying yes or no.
I'll be back in 1 second. Talk.
Okay, so Brad's leaving. Frankly, I think it's a better show without him. There's really no point to Brad. It should just be me and Galen. That's what I hear from people all the time is, why do you even have that guy? What's he about? What's the point of him? I don't know. Beats me. But let's plug the Talking About Them Cougars show. Starts back this Sunday. I think we have 2 pretty good guests. We might get a third. We might lose one of them. But we're looking to do basketball and football on this show. We want to have some consistent football guests going into spring football, which will start in March. Signing day is coming up. I don't know how big a deal that's going to be, but we're looking to get some people. I have to be back at U of H tomorrow. There's an event for the new football facility. I guess just promotion event. So we'll hear from everybody, take a tour, see what's up. And now, the star of our show, the most important person on this show, Brad Towns is back. Hello, Brad.
Hello.
Sorry that you had to leave. Where's Big Starnes?
In his skin.
Yeah, he's over there somewhere. He's not here. LJ missed the second free throw of his season. Yeah, he missed one in, I think, December, and then missed that tonight. That's gonna take some work. Emmanuel was 3 of 3 at the line, so I think he's probably your top free throw shooter now. Emmanuel is having a year. Just everything he does. Confidence everywhere, right? Confidence. 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 What do you think of when you hear Emmanuel Sharp?
Emmanuel Sharp.
Confident.
Well, that's a good sound right after you say that.
I did see him take a couple of those runaway threes that he had changed up a little bit.
Well, he took one from where it says Penic on the damn near half court. After he hit the three in a row, he got a little greedy. But whatever. You don't want to tell that guy, don't shoot. Don't shoot. That's probably not what you want to say at this point in the year. I saw Hollis Price walk out a little bit ago, and he had a Star Pizza box.
Ooh, smart man.
I didn't know they had them. Nobody told me. Mike Pittman didn't call me up and say, "Hey, we got some pizza for you." But yeah, he walked out with a whole box. I didn't see Qantas come out because he'd had like 8. But Star Pizza, go get you some.
Here,
Brad's putting photos. Yeah.
Added you 2.
Yeah. You see, here's the thing, Brad. You can't add photos like this because now there's 3 of us.
That works perfect.
Yeah, that's great. Everybody's loving that. Even the dude behind him is like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
I think he was asking for an autograph.
Yeah. Whoa.
Excuse me, sir. Can I have your shirt after the game?
He should have come up and taken his picture with me. It could have had a bucket list item.
Bucket list.
Yeah. Not Bob Huggins. All right. I think we've covered everything we needed to cover tonight. This was fun. Good crowd. We like when the crowds are nice. When Galen's not here, it makes us feel like you're watching for us. Shout out to the 0 people watching us on Facebook.
Oh man, we lost our groove.
We lost everything.
I guess I haven't been saying some certain keywords that normally people on Facebook like to hear. I don't know what those are.
Next door.
The only time I've looked at Facebook in the last 10 years is when my birthday comes up. Because all of a sudden, I start getting notifications.
Well, turn the damn notifications off.
I did this year.
Okay.
But I still want to check. If people are going to say happy birthday, I might as well just say thank you.
Our uniforms still need some work. Jordan Brand has been disappointing. There are different levels of Jordan. There's North Carolina. And there's Houston. It's not the same level. U of H's deal with Jordan is a little different in that U of H has basically said, we just want to be Jordan. Let's whatever we have to do, we want to be Jordan.
We just want the brand.
Because it matters.
We want that logo.
Yeah, it matters.
We want that logo. Give us whatever else you got, but we just want the logo.
The other schools that are Jordan, I think Michigan basketball, maybe Michigan football are Jordan. North Carolina basketball is Jordan. Well, why are they? Because they sell a lot of gear. That's not the case with U of H. And so you're kind of at the bottom rung. how they do the uniforms, there's a system to it, and I've been told this system. I don't want to say it because I'm not 100% on it, but you're not at the top of the heap. And so just be thankful that you had that opportunity as a program, because it's not the number one thing. It's not even the number 5 thing, but it matters. And, whenever you see that U of H logo, you see that Jordan logo, just like the Big 12 logo matters too. What did I put something or did you? I
You
don't
did.
know. I'm thankful I found a couple Jordan logo things. They've got some polos that were pretty cool. I think the like the pregame shirts they wear when they come out for shoot around, I think those would be big sell. I mean, big relative, but I think they would sell. Malik had one on today. It was a
I don't know,
long
man.
sleeve.
I think our market is pretty much locked down with one substantial.
All right, now you're gonna be an asshole.
I'm serious.
Make me. Well, no, I know you are, but I'm trying to talk about this, and you're like, oh, well, let me kiss Galen's ass a little. Okay, cool. All right, get you some one substantial. Whoop-de-doo.
Hey,
Uh,
he's going to get a tent for me.
well, yeah, he's out there sewing it together right now.
Well, I mean,
Lauren
I know
said,
he's got like 40 people doing it.
yeah, he's got his own sweatshop.
I mean, it's
Lauren,
going to take a while on the boat.
Lauren said, big fucking boat. Lauren said that the Jordan brand is only here through the Sampsons. If Sampson had left at any point, Jordan would have gone with him. Lauren's words. I've never heard that. It rings true, but I've never heard that. So yeah, I think they've had some issues with the uniforms they've been doing. I don't know what the solution is, but there's some things that you'd wish for a little better, and that's okay. Brad,
What?
let's finish this up.
Okay.
Give me your final thoughts about what you saw tonight.
I thought it was a great win. You beat a good team who played very well. It wasn't an off night. It wasn't one where you shut them down. You just played better.
Yeah.
Which tells me we can play better, which is always a good sign. I mean, I think we talked about this previously, is that, we've got a lot of guys that we can throw out there, and any night of 8 guys out of 8, pick 2 or 3, and they're going to click. It's not like we're having to go to the well and beg for one guy to carry it. I think guys are really stepping up and starting to fit well within different roles. And it's great to see also Jawan really step up here. It's almost like a light switch. He turned it on when conference started because he's a different player, a lot more aggressive. And he showed me more tonight than I've seen in a couple of years from him, just showing the evolution of how much he's improved skill-wise and move-wise, because it wasn't just brute force, Jawan getting the ball and trying to just kind of overpower somebody. He gave the defense a number of different looks, and showed a lot of range in his game.
You really think it's been a couple of years? Like the best you've seen in a couple of years?
From a mechanical standpoint, absolutely.
Okay.
He's been hot before, and he scored well before, but they were all pretty much okay, let me back it, let me back you down,
backing it in,
just
backing in.
Jump hook. Now, he's giving different moves. He's going a little up and under, a little dream shake, put the ball on the floor, taking it, spinning right instead of forcing left every time. He's doing a better job of taking what the defender gives you, and using their positioning and their body weight against them.
He's been working on a move after practice. It's just a little in the middle of the lane, the spin, and the little jumper. And I'm going to tell you something. Coming back from Christmas, he was terrible with it. I mean, we're talking like hitting a 1 of 10. Terrible. It looked like his free throws, frankly. Just clank, clank. It wasn't good, but he got better. And maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks ago now, I was like, oh, it's a little better. And then Monday, or not Monday, last week, Thursday, I was like, oh, that's okay. You know, he's hitting 6 out of 10 of those, 5 out of 10. And then tonight, on the first possession, he turned it over. They come back down and they get him the ball in that spot, and he flips it and pops it in. And I, I don't think it's the first one of those he's hit, but I bet it's the second in a game. And, you know, if you're talking about expanding the skill set, that's a new one. And, you know,
Well, it's
it was
like when Josh Carlton got here. You know, for the first month or two, it took him a while to kind of get things going. Then all of a sudden, he made a couple of post moves, and I said to myself, we got a guy who can play inside. We got a guy who can actually deal with his back to the basket." Because it takes more than just, you know, one. I mean, unless you're Shaq, but it takes more than just one move, because eventually somebody's going to shut that down.
Yeah.
But you add him adding more components to his offensive game on top of his ability to pass out of the post and be effective doing that. All of a sudden, he's a real problem down low.
I think a lot of people are going to miss Kelvin Sampson when he leaves. I think the assistant coaches that do that position work, that day to day with those guys on the practice floor, just to let you know. So Kelvin runs practice 100%. But before practice, you have position group workouts. So the guards are working out with each other, the 4s and 5s, and each of those have an assistant coach. Well, Kelvin's not there. He's there for practice. Post practice, you have individual work. Kelvin leaves. He's not there for that individual work. That is all assistant coaches doing that work. And Kellen is the guy that works with the 4s. That's the only spot Kellen works with. And Kelvin talked about this in one of his media appearances recently, is that, you know, Kellen is the one that gets those 4s, Jawan and JoJo. He's the one that's putting that work in with those guys. Juanis White has done a phenomenal job with the guards, with what you've seen out of Milos, turning it around, the shooting differences with LJ and Emmanuel. As much as you're going to miss Kelvin, you're going to miss the work that these assistants have done with these guys. You know, Emmanuel Sharp was a good player coming out of Tampa, but he was not the guy you see now.
Right.
That's development. Jawan, I mean, Kansas wasn't dying to get him. Duke wasn't beating his door down. But over the course of his 30-year college career, he's turned into a pretty good player.
Yeah.
But I really think it's going to be those guys that you're going to miss from an everyday development standpoint. And I think I've said it on this show, but I think Quantis is getting a head coaching job. I think he is. I would be wholly unsurprised if it's Louisiana Lafayette. There could be others, but I think that's a real good spot for him. South Louisiana guy, great hotbed of talent, as you're seeing what Will Wade is doing at McNeese. There's opportunity there, and I think he might take that. Kellen is obviously waiting for this job. So those are the guys that I think you're really going to miss when they end up moving out of here. My final thoughts on tonight are Jawan needs to go find another stomach bug about 4 days before the Kansas game. He needs to just get him another one. See if him and that stomach bug can do some stuff at Allen Fieldhouse. And they'll probably have to find another one right before they go to West Virginia. He looked really good tonight. You had big offensive number nights from Emmanuel Sharp, Jawan, and LJ Cryer. LJ Cryer, he hit those 3-pointers back to back to back in the second half. I think last year the biggest moment of the season was hitting those 3-pointers in a row at Texas in the second half. You might look at a point in time where those 3 are a really, really big deal. Maybe there's a bigger moment in the season than that, but I thought those 3 were a huge deal for him and for this team. LJ kind of put you on his back. I don't even know what he scored in the second half. He had 12 points.
12.
Only 3 of 8 shooting, but that's okay. That's surprise. I just don't remember it. Those are the only 3 shots he made in the second half.
But he started off slow.
Yeah,
in the second
that's
half.
true. He missed the first 2, I think, and then hit those 3. It's okay. I think West Virginia was something like 14 of 20 at one point to start the first half. They shot the hell out of the ball early, and then it just all fell apart.
It was like a 6 or 8 minute run where they went scoreless.
They went scoreless, and then they had another 8-minute run where they did not make a field goal. That was in the second half.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good team, and just 2 big scoring droughts made to happen by the U of H defense. So you got to feel good about it.
I mean, that's what U of H does to you. That's what,
Yeah.
I mean, you work your ass off to get it back to within 3, and then U of H comes back and scores again. And then all of a sudden they start panicking a little bit. It's like we had them on the ropes. Just like watching a boxer having a guy on the ropes near knockout, and they punch themselves out. And then all of a sudden they get stung, and it's holy shit, here we go again.
Still nobody on Facebook. Great crowd on X and GoCoogs, YouTube. By the way, we don't say this ever, but it would be very helpful to Brad and I if you go to YouTube, go youtube.com/GoCoogs, and just hit that little subscribe button. And Brad will tell you hit that little notification button too. But if you subscribe, a little bell, if you subscribe, that helps and helps us. We'll make 45 or 50 cents off of this show.
Hey, buys me a cup of char pepperoni.
It's
good.
I went to McDonald's the other day, and they charge 25 cents for a thing of barbecue sauce now.
Really?
Yeah. And so I got me 4 of them. I spent $1 on barbecue sauce, and the girl only gave me 3, and I was like, no, here's my receipt. So I could I could almost get 2 of those packets of barbecue sauce.
Not when you're charging $14 for a freaking Big Mac dinner.
No, you need to. I'm going to teach you
value
about
meal
McDonald's
done.
right
Those
now.
are
No, not that.
No, even
their app is fantastic. They have
maybe so, but
I don't go to McDonald's but once every 10 years. But man,
even the Jack in the Box, their tacos, the old timey 2 for 99 cents, they're $1.99 now. Some bullshit.
Yeah, I would never eat those tacos. Just gotta say.
Oh, dude, they were the greatest.
That slice of cheese sticking out, that just looks so weird to me. Anyways, thank y'all so much. Subscribe on YouTube. Go check out the Emmanuel interview. I think you'll like it. It's a little different. I've never done anything like that. We're going to do them with other players. I told the people on the Veer today that we're going to do one with Jawan, where he has to make 3 free throws in a row for the interview to end. And so that's going to be a long interview. So check that one out. Hit the like button. I don't really remember where we're doing the like button, but hit it. Why not? 40% quarter pounder with cheese, dollar drink. Sometimes you get $1 10-piece nuggets. I got a 29-cent 6-piece nugget the other day.
When's the last time you've ordered your 20-pack of nuggets?
I haven't done a 20, so what you're talking about
yes,
is
you
the
did
50
back in like
piece.
2004.
No, it's the 50 piece. On Sundays, they would
Oh,
have
yeah.
a 50 piece for $8 or something. And I would order that and try to pound through that 50 piece. And those are some bad days. But I haven't done that in a long, long time. I haven't even
That
seen
was
those.
usually after a really rough Chug-a-Lug Park or Fall
A
Down
chug a
Friday.
lug or a brunch or something like that.
So, yeah.
But knew you were going to do that. You're such an asshole. Thank y'all for watching. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us after the game. Another 90-minute show. Cougs got it done. 5-0 in the conference. Starting to really put it together. If you're a fan, here's the thing. When I
to cook a little bit.
Here's how I know things are going well. Kelvin Sampson is walking down, up and down, and he puts his hand in his pockets. When he does that, things are pretty good. He did that a couple times tonight. You know, they never really got out of range of West Virginia. You just never got comfortable. But he put those hands in the pockets a couple times. That's for me, that's what I'm looking for from him. GoCoogs.com. Got content the rest of the week. Appreciate y'all so much. Thanks for watching. I believe Galen will be here Saturday for UCF. Tricky game, 11 a.m. Flying to Florida. Tricky. Tricky. I think U of H can win it, but tricky. Thank you, Brad. Good job. GoCoogs.com.